and I want to talk about tattoos in the workforce. Just what does a tattoo have to do with being in the workforce, and does it cause problems for someone getting a job? Well, that can be a tough question to answer, and with this speech I would like to talk about the special meanings behind tattoos and how today's society looks at them. Another statement we need to look at is, does having a tattoo and what it truly means to the employer, and if it makes them a really bad worker or not. This is something we need to remedy, and at some point make the corporate world understand the meaning for a tattoo and why someone would get one. I would hope that after we talk today that you will take a second look at the individual and see the person and not the tattoo, and judge them for their actions, beliefs, and ability, and not the actual body art. Behind me is a person in the profession. He looks to be a physician, but he has loads of tattoos, looks like pretty much on most of his body, but he can cover them up in the professional world, so we're not really thinking about his job, whether it affects it or not. Have you ever seen someone with a tattoo and had to thought to yourself, is that person a slob? Well, most Americans and many throughout the world would agree with you, but not because of real life. Most would recite the fact that is what they read and see on the screen that made them think that way. Just think, the person sitting next to you today could have a tattoo and you do not know about it. Just to understand the facts of tattoos, you must know that at this time, someone in the United States is getting a tattoo and another person will pass judgment on him or her for doing so. However, can you really say that from the tattoo you can make the judgment and state that person will not be whom they say and will be a rebel, slacker, or worthless loafer? Well, most today, I say, do not agree with that and say that what you see is not what you get. Just to make a point, I will say do not agree with that and say that what you see is not what you get. Oh goodness, I'm sorry I'm messing up, but I have multiple tattoos, many of them large pieces, and they show while I'm at work. To say that those with tattoos are scum of the earth or ink slobs is not only disrespectful, but is also a response of the uneducated fool. I graduated high school and university with a 4.0 GPA and now work for a pharmaceutical company. This statement was made by a Shadow Kiss 23. And this statement comes from the web article called Tattoos in the Workplace. Still taboo? In addition, does this make you believe that someone next to you is bad? I hope not. As we continue this talk today, I would like you to understand the reasons and meanings behind someone getting a tattoo and how it affects them. Most get a tattoo for a lost loved one, and others get it for the achievement they have done in their lives. Each tattoo has several parts, and each brings about the meaning to their tattoos. Some have symbols, others are of animals, plants, mainly flowers, and another group is that of the tribal weaves. When someone gets a tattoo of a symbol, they're trying to convey the understanding that they are courageous, brave, they love life, feel complete. They are trying to convey the understanding they are courageous throughout everyday life and their everyday actions. Most of these types of tattoos are of Chinese or Japanese symbols and are very trendy today. Animals, on the other hand, can have different meanings in which the culture it comes from. Some show strength, starting over, or just the loss of a special pet, as each animal has a different meaning to the one that has a tattoo with it. When it comes to religious tattoos, most use the Christian symbols, such as the cross, to convey the loss of the person in their lives. Others use a flower to show love their love lost from a deceased person. Before you judge, remember, judge not, lest you be judged. Excuse me. As you can see, we answered the question quite easily. Why would you ever want to get a tattoo in the first place? The first part is really tied to the people themselves, and only you can really say as to why you got a tattoo and not someone else. The loss of a special someone is one of the biggest reasons behind a tattoo, and military service has seen its share of loss of its comrades and individuals getting their names inked onto their bodies to show respect for them. Another and most regretted reason is someone dared one of their friends to do it, thought it was cool, or they were too drunk to even know better. Always try to remember, make the reason for getting a tattoo something special and not regrettable. When we understand the meaning of a tattoo and how it became so common in today's society, we must learn that the art of tattooing has been around since the age of the Egyptian pharaohs and may have started long before that. It can be confirmed that all the way back to 4000 BC, individuals were getting tattoos to show their link to their society and their groups. It meant something special and not just to judge a poor character. The age of stereotypes that a person with a tattoo is a bad person is slowing and becoming outdated, and not a true description of that person. We take our understanding of tattoos and only what we have been shown or told from the ages past, and not the history of the art or where it came from. It was not until about 50 years ago that tattoos were becoming commonplace, and many past military personnel were leaving the service and joining the workforce. Early TV shows brought the thought to the mainstream audience that someone with a tattoo was a member of a gang or criminal. But today's trendy shows and through pulp culture, this has helped to evolve today's society belief of tattoos into acceptable standards. So how does the corporate world look to an individual with tattoos? This can be summed up as this: we have slowing, begun to see the person and not the tattoo. And with time and deep understanding, we can move past the ink and see the person and not the tattoo. And sometimes we believe that this would take more time, that it'd be advisable to cover it up, so as not to draw attention to take away from their business at hand or their job that they're going for. Until everyone learns the history and begins to accept the tattoo, we will still have to cover it up. When the New York Times looked at the plight of corporate America's inked employees, they found that few exceptions were allowed, and it was the best to cover them up. The study they discussed stated that 61% of human resource managers would not hire an applicant because of the ink, and that would be the reason for turning them away. As you can see, we are not anywhere close to the days when the pharaohs walked the earth and tattoos were a sign of passage or status. But a stigma that stains the minds of the ones that know nothing about it. We must, in time and understanding, move past the stigma, free our minds, and see the person for who they are, or we will lose a good employee to another competitor. My children have tattoos, and I've chosen to allow them at the age of 18, if they want to get one, they can get them as long as they're decent. And I have the 7 children, each have one, except for the younger ones. So in conclusion, I would like to think in this short amount of time that I've spoken, that corporate America will begin to accept the person that sits before them or beside them and looks not only to their intelligence and drive and not their bodily appearance for tattoos as a reason for their hiring or firing. It has a special meaning to each person that decides to put ink on their body, and we must try to understand this by meeting the person head on and getting to know them personally. So can we say now that someone with a tattoo is a slob, or can we see beyond the tattoo and help people in corporate America free themselves of the misunderstanding? It's up to you to decide. Thank you.